All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to your Thursday night episode of Unscripted, live here on Facebook at Unscripted. We are also live on the All Sports, All Plays channel of All Play Network on Facebook and YouTube. Coming next Tuesday, February the 8th, we'll be live on Tiki channel, so be sure to check us out over there as well starting next week. I'm your producer and host tonight, Logan Landers, and joining me, as always, is the nicely trimmed Jay McLovin. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. I just want to say, this is Black History Month, and a real quick fact totem. 50 years ago, 1971, Richard Appleby, Horace King, Chuck Kinnebrew, Clarence Pope, and Larry West walked to the University of Georgia, and they were known as the Five. And one of the biggest things they said that kind of struck out at me was pretty awesome, and how great these guys were, and being the pioneers. Was that when Appleby said that he thought of, he said that he also thanked Dooley for the support and teaching him the importance of accountability. We wanted everything to be fair and equal. I think we were able to accomplish that. We never yelled racism. We never blamed Coach Dooley. He gave everyone a fair chance, Appleby said. If not for Coach Dooley, I don't think that this would have worked. And I'm glad it did work, because 50 years from that date now, where you had 5 black players, now with the national championship, well over 3/4 of the team is African American, and I think that is a great, tremendous stride for how we've come, at least in that aspect of diversity. Now, if the NFL can get their crap together, maybe that'll be a huge step for man.
And we will get to that in just a second, Jay, with the great fact and our special guest tonight, the incomparable Phil Tross III. What's going on, buddy?
Family, how y'all doing? As always, it's my pleasure to be a part of this great and amazing show. I look forward to today.
Yes, sir. Let's get things going. If you enjoyed the video tonight, like, comment, share, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. If you have a comment, drop it down on Facebook and YouTube, and we will throw it up on the screen and talk with you about it. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic in the NFL. Guys, top 10 active quarterbacks. So who wants to go first? Do you want to give your whole list? Do you want to just give one?
Phil's
Jay,
going first. I gave the top.
Go ahead, Phil.
You knew it was coming.
You said top 10. Are there even 10 elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
Top active QBs. Top active right now. No Brady. Okay,
no,
he's gone.
He's out. Yep.
All right. So let me go from top to bottom, I guess. Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, my bad man, Joey Burrow, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. Derek Carr, he revived it. He had a good year. I'll say Derek Carr, number 7. Josh Allen. Oh my goodness, Josh Allen's been like top 3. I forgot about that guy. 2 more quarterbacks. Are there 2 more active QBs?
Yeah. There's 2 more. There's 2 more.
Who else? Oh no, I'm missing two elite ones. My bad, guys. Matthew Stafford and Russell Wilson. That's my 10.
All right.
Jay,
give me your top 10, buddy.
Yeah, I got, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but I got my boy Joey B.
I
got Joey Cool because he beat Patrick Mahomes in his rookie year to be in the damn Super Bowl.
He ain't wrong.
And he took a team that was nothing, 4-11 last year, and put this team on his back with the help of Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and Tay Higgins, and the defense, and despite the offensive line.
Hey,
Joe
Jason,
Burrow,
real quick. Hey,
Joe
Jay,
Burrow, number 1. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes
Jason.
is number 2.
Jay.
Josh Allen.
Hey, what school did Joe Burrow go to, by the way?
Yeah, Last State University now. But, but then it was Louisiana State University, LSU.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. I got you, bro.
Just wanted to hear it.
Hey, I got you. Hey, I feel you. Hey, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, and last but certainly not least, my boy Russell Wilson.
Wait, hold up. You said top 10 active QBs. When's the last time Deshaun Watson played a game?
Hey.
That's a good point there, Phil.
Active, they just not playing him. But he could be playing. But you can't deny what Deshaun Watson is. You can't overlook that talent.
You're not wrong. He led the league in passing in 2020.
You just can't overlook that talent. I'm not going to overlook him just because he got 22 allegations.
He did, but it's a what have you done for me lately league, you know?
Well, that's true. It's sort of hard to do it from the sideline, isn't it?
All
right. But if we bring in Brian Flores, then he gets reactivated. So, hey, Houston Texans, you want a culture change? Go grab Brian Flores, reactivate Deshaun Watson. Look, let's pretend it never happened. We'll get him to settle the 22 allegations, and then let's play some damn football.
All right. Easy for me. Number 1, Daniel Jones. Number 2, Baker. Okay, no.
I'm about to say, good Lord, man. What is he doing?
I'm just messing with it. All right, number 1, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. 2, Patrick Mahomes. 3, Joey B. I'm going to go 4 with Justin Herbert. 5, Josh Allen. 6, I'll go Kyler Murray. I don't think any of y'all put his name in there. I don't believe.
I'll put it in there.
Okay. For 7, I'll go Matt Stafford. Led him to the Super Bowl. Got Lamar Jackson in there also. Got to get my boy Derek Carr. And for number 10, who am I missing here? There's a lot of quarterbacks, guys. Oh, Russell Wilson. I didn't put his name. I'll put in Russ.
And see, the title confused me a bit because it does say 10 active, but I want to get active and elite confused. So that's a good topic. I like that.
Yeah, active.
Right.
Yeah, active, we don't deal about all time. I mean, listen, all we care about is what's going on right now.
Hey, fun fact about Herbert as well, too. There's only been 9 QBs in the history of the NFL to pass for 5,000 yards. He has one of those seasons.
Yeah, he does.
Guess who has the other half of those?
Wonder who.
Oh, jeez Louise, man.
It's okay. I'll tell you. That bad man, Drew Brees.
There you go. Freddie Henderson, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's up, big Freddie?
Freddie, I don't know if you tuned in when I said Daniel Jones number 1, but he turned the stream off right there probably, so that might have been his.
Hey, for those of you who don't know, Freddie Henderson is no longer a New York Giants fan. He is now a Los Angeles Rams fan, and I just want everybody to know that Freddie took a team that he did not have to pay any dues to. There's no dues with the Rams. As if he'd gone with the Chargers, he could have paid some dues, but since he went with the Rams, he's just kind of skating to the top. I don't get that.
Jay, how's your Mavericks doing right now?
Yeah, I know. He's teasing about my shirt. Listen, I'm a Rockets fan. We know that. Let's move on.
Let's keep it in the NFL. We got a new team in the way, right? New name, new uniforms. The Washington Commanders. How did y'all feel about this? It kind of got leaked. They pretty much kept the same colorway. I do see a brand new black jersey, which it's a jersey. But Phil, what did you think about the name change, and also what do you think about the new unis you see up on the screen?
So my feelings about the name kind of changed a bit over the last few days. So obviously, Jason's a veteran. I currently serve. So the Commanders, I kind of get it. You know, they're Washington, D.C., nation's capital. It makes sense. And it's not that bad. It kind of rolls off the tongue. At first, I kind of thought Red Tails would be cool, but I feel like Dan Snyder, he did it on purpose, man. I feel like everyone finally got comfortable with the Washington football team. Right. And as soon as we grew to like it, let's change it. You know? So I think we're sticking to the NFL. The black ones, they got to go. The uniforms are trash. But the maroon and white ones, those white ones are pretty clean.
You know, here's my thing, Phil. This is where I have an issue with the name, right?
Yeah.
Whoever is in marketing really kind of screwed the pooch on this, if you don't mind me saying. Because you went from the Redskins to the people who killed the Redskins. So I don't understand this whole PR move. But let's just take the fact that the Commanders were the people who killed the Indians. We'll take that out of the situation.
Right.
And we'll move on to another height of it. You could have put the Red Tails in there. You could have tied this any number of ways to make it a historical. Look, here's my problem, Phil. Here's my problem. The marketing team chose a name that had absolutely zero substance.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
They tried
nothing
to
to
make it,
grab
but it
onto.
wasn't.
It's not a sexy name. If they could have chose the Red Tails, you could have captured an entire demographic. And let's be honest, Phil. Let's be honest. With the way the situation the NFL currently is towards minorities and especially African Americans, how could you not? This was a home run for you. This was a home run. You could have given. You could have given the Red Tails.
Dan Snyder's last ticket to the NFL coach, because honestly, Dan Snyder he was the approval authority of that name. So that was all on him, man.
And Dan Snyder's an idiot. He's an idiot because look, bro, you could have tied with the Red Tails. You could have tied the Tuskegee Airmen. You could have tied that perfectly.
The Red Tails are perfect.
A whole demographic.
Yeah, that would have been better,
bro. You would have had a name that involves inclusion.
Yep.
You would have had a minority coach. I mean, your team would have been the damn poster child for what exactly the NFL should become.
They definitely would have been. They would have been one of the favorite teams off a name alone if they would have went the Red Tails or something similar to that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Hey, they missed the entire marketing campaign, man. It's ridiculous. But going to the uniforms, the white one's pretty dope. The red one looks pretty generic, and the black one looks like that uniform, the Green Machine, off The Longest Yard. I don't get
it. So for me, right? I mean, there's a lot of fans out there, right? You've seen on Facebook and anywhere social media. They love that Redskins name. They didn't want the change in the first place, right? Then, like Jay said, people got accustomed kind of to the football team name, whatnot. It was kind of a bland logo, I admit, but people were kind of getting used to it. And like Jay mentioned, like Phil mentioned, Red Tails would have been perfect, right? You wouldn't have alienated the fan base, right, that enjoyed that Redskins name. That kind of would have been a lesser blow per se, right? I feel like they would have came around to that. But I mean, like Jay said, there's no lineage, no history here with Commanders. It just kind of doesn't flow well. I mean, I saw fans trying to start chanting. It doesn't work. I mean, they could have went different. They could have done a better job with that, I think. They changed their logo. I'll say that a little bit. It's still the W, but it's like a little bit with more lines. So I feel like they kind of missed out on that a little bit. Like I said, I like the white uniforms. They're fine. The red ones are iffy, right? They seem like they could have done a little bit better. They're kind of like college uniforms. And the black ones are just pretty much a ripoff of the Iowa Hawkeyes jerseys, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, you can go to the Hawkeyes, too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it looks like the Hawkeyes jersey.
The main issue I have, right, is none of you guys have mentioned, I'm surprised. So there's two things, right? You see on the black jerseys, they have Commanders right there in like the right-hand side, which, but
I don't like that. I think maybe they're going to do like a name tag on the uniform, maybe. I don't know.
But Jay, what's with the W right here on the helmet? Yeah. That looks stupid. That looks awful.
Maybe they're trying to say we're winners, and the W is for winner, or worst uniform ever, but they don't want to put the whole worst on there.
If they wanted to go with an alternate, why not go with the yellow? Why not go with the gold? Right?
I can dig that. I can dig the gold.
I would have rather. I mean, it might not have been great looking, but it would have looked better than that because that just looks bland and generic.
You ever play that game? Which one doesn't belong? I mean, it
just
sticks out like that.
He said everything's better than the Cowboys.
Well, the one cure all for everything is winning. So they have an elite. They have a very young and elite defense. So if they can keep winning, maybe people will fall in love. But as of right now, I give them 2 thumbs down.
Yeah, I definitely got 2 thumbs down.
Yeah,
big marketing mix. Big marketing miss, man. Honestly.
And I mean, honestly, the jerseys they had last year were fine. I don't know, they didn't need to change those up a whole lot, but it is what it is. But like y'all said, as long as it produces on the field, that's the main thing that matters. And we will see what the now Washington Commanders can do in 2022. Speaking of the NFL, like me and Jay mentioned on Tuesday's show, there's a little bit of some heat going on right now between former Dolphins coach former Dolphins coach Brian Flores and his suit against the NFL, the Giants, the Broncos, and man, it's wild. So the NFL says those claims are without merit. I'm going to read this statement. The NFL and our clubs are deeply committed to ensuring equitable employment practices and continue to make progress in providing equitable opportunities throughout our organizations. Diversity is so core to everything we do, and there are so few issues on which our clubs and our internal leadership teams spend more time. We will defend against these claims, which are without merit. Now, since me and Jay did speak about this a lot on Tuesday, right? We spent probably 30 minutes talking about this topic alone. Phil, I want to get your thoughts about this. What were your thoughts on not just the NFL claiming this, but also the whole Brian Flores situation and all the teams that are in some hot water at this moment?
So first, let me preface with this. I mentioned that I'm an active duty soldier. So first and foremost, my thoughts on this topic are mine and mine alone.
Right.
They do not reflect the views of the United States Army or their affiliates, right? So first and foremost, NFL, Miami Dolphins, New York Giants, John Elway, this is garbage. Point blank period. This is garbage. Without merit, the guy had proof, right? So let's backtrack a bit. Brian Flores had 2 winning seasons for the Dolphins, right? 2 winning seasons, right? And let me back up a little bit because there's a lot to dissect with this, right? I'm disturbed with the NFL, but I'm even more disturbed with the fans who support this, right? I had one guy saying, well, he was a head coach for the Miami Dolphins, so how's his racism? Look at all the black head coaches that have ever been hired in the NFL outside of Mike Tomlin for Pittsburgh, right? None of them have ever been hired into prominent positions where the teams are actually in position to succeed. They've all gone to franchises that need to be rebuilt, right? And so it's easy to say, oh, yeah, we hired a black coach. Yeah, to a morbid franchise, and he fired him when he couldn't produce, right? Because you didn't give him no support. So I think this is trash, man. The owner asked Brian Flores to pretty much point shade, to pretty much lose on purpose. And then you got the New York Giants, right? The Rooney Rule is garbage. All it is a Band-Aid, right? All it is, hey, so the Rooney Rule says that you have to interview 1 or 2 minority personnel outside of your organization, right? But it doesn't make you hire them, right? It doesn't force you to really do what's right in your heart and to hire the right person for the job, regardless of skin color. So all you're doing is you're interviewing these guys to save face. And it was more evident. It hasn't been more evident than right now when Bill Belichick mistakenly messaged Brian Flores and said, "Hey, congrats!" Right? They already offered the job to Brian Dowell before they even interviewed Brian Flores. Yep. He didn't get a fair chance, and it wasn't the first time. Right? It wasn't the first time. Marvin Lewis has spoken up. Hugh Jackson has spoken up. Multiple organizations, multiple owners have asked these black coaches to do unethical things to further their franchise, but they aren't doing what's right. I think it's complete garbage, man.
Yeah, here's how I look at that, Phil. Or this, and I'm just talking about the NFL statement first of all. Right. The NFL had an opportunity to really turn a bad situation into a situation of hope, right? They could, but then they go out and they just release a generic statement. But then at the end of the generic statement, this is where it goes wrong. Mm-hmm. The part where it says we will defend, and pretty much everything after the word we, I don't understand why you would put that sentence on there. Mm-hmm. Number one, whoever their marketing people is retarded. And I know what, Jay? But this is ridiculous. You know what, too?
I don't mean to cut you off, Jay. Like,
no, you're good.
I expected them, right, to deny it, obviously, right? Deny. I expected that. But to come out and say without merit, now come on now.
No, that's my point.
Come on now.
But that's what I'm saying. That whole line, they should have just left that. That should not even be a part of it. Put out your generic statement, do your research, and then come out with a more appropriate, more, well-defined statement. Because they got to say something at the beginning. So I get that, the first part of it, because every company would put that out. It's the last line that, for me, is where the whole statement just goes wrong.
Right.
Because there is, like you said, Phil, how is it not without merit? The damn text messages are clearly obvious that it has merit. Number
there's
one,
32 teams in the NFL, and there's one black head coach. What really grinds my gears. This is it, right? These owners are hiring the same people over and over and over. It's like a merry-go-round, right?
It is a merry-go-round.
One coach goes from New York to Miami to Cincinnati to Pittsburgh, right? And it's like, by hiring the same guy, you're going to get different results. No, all these guys that you're hiring, they're losers. They haven't won anything for you.
The sad thing about it is, Phil, is this is where the NFL is really jacked up. So these owners come out, or I should say not owners, but let's say, okay, John Elway for sure, and then I'm guessing the upper level management of, and I don't know if it's more himself or if it's the GM. I don't really know who's coming out and speaking for the Giants, but whoever it is, it doesn't matter. The Giants themselves and the Broncos, in terms of Elway, are basically denying all of this. Which, come on, man. Listen, okay, you want to come on and well, then why doesn't the NFL stake in and say, hey, and the NFL just not Paul Tagliabue. Roger Goodell is just not taking a stand against what's going on. I don't know if he's afraid of the owners, and maybe he is. Maybe he's afraid of the ownership.
He is, because he works for them. He works for the owners. The owners
absolutely. And that's the only thing it can be. It's the only thing it can be. And you know, I mean, like, I don't understand how you – and the sad thing about it is I think Dable is probably a really good coach. I think he's probably a really good guy. But the sad part about it is he's caught up by he's like the casualty of it, right? Casualty of war. He's a casualty of this whole damn situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm Dable, I'm thinking like, damn, I thought I earned this job, but then I got this whole cloud that was created by this organization that I now work for, and then now somehow or another I'm caught up in this. I don't want to be caught up in this crap.
And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, this is where the NFL messed up at, right? They thought that Brian Flores was a one-man band and that he was going to do his little thing. They could put their claims out there and brush them under the rug, right? But no, Brian Flores is smart. He filed a class action suit, which opened the door for others to join in with him. Now you got Hugh Jackson. Now you got Marvin Lewis. And we don't even know who else is involved with that.
But Phil, you know where the NFL really messed up? I mean, okay, let's put our comments, let's put our devil's advocate. Let's just see things from a different point of view. Let's say you're the NFL. This is where the NFL screwed up. So now Brian Flores got a lawsuit out there. So they're going after every piece of evidence they can get. And part of that lawsuit is the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. And then they put out, we will defend against these claims which are without merit. And they have the evidence. So it's like they're hanging themselves. Like they're giving Brian Flores all the ammunition he needs to put a really good case against them.
Got a comment
here how dumb they are.
Got a comment from John Suggs here before we keep on with our comments here saying, most thing is owners are still stuck in the Jim Crow law mindset. Only black head coach that had most seasons was Marvin Lewis with 16 years, and he had 7 years in which he made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen, coaches black minority coaches get fired for having winning records, right? I mean, we saw Brian Flores, right? His team went on an 8-9 game winning streak, for God's sake. I mean, who else? Lovie Smith, right? He was with the Bears for a long time. Marvin Lewis.
What really struck a chord with me too,
Logan,
is when Hugh Jackson spoke up. Because at first, I didn't know too much about his situation. Then I thought about it. He coached the Browns for 2 seasons, right? When he inherited the Browns, he inherited a treasure trove of draft picks. Yep. They got Baker Mayfield. They got Myles Garrett. They had Odell Beckham. They had Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
They had some great pieces in place, but yet they couldn't win. Yep. How? Hugh Jackson wasn't a bad coach before then. Did he all of a sudden become inept?
Right.
No way.
Well, he came out and basically said that I don't know how the language was worded in his contract, but basically they were paying him to lose. I mean, but I'm pretty sure that their language in the contract doesn't say it exactly like that, but I think that's the implication.
Of course.
I think that's the implication.
Yeah. And just to give my 2 cents before we're going to the continuous topic about the other coaches, is I told Jay about this on Tuesday, right? We see the NFL, right? Whenever the whole Colin Kaepernick situation happened a couple of seasons ago, what do? They have the end racism slogan on the end zones and on the back of helmets. Is that really doing anything for the league? Like Phil said, it's a Band-Aid, right? They slapped something on there to say, hey, look, we support this. Come on, really? And
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Well, and this really should be a separate topic. But how do y'all feel about the Byron Leftwich situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars? We were talking about that. It actually got a little heated. I think the chat. How do y'all know what's going on? Byron Leftwich situation.
From what I understood, is the GM and him just do not see eye to eye. I don't know what it is. Like I said, it hasn't came out. But for the love of God, we've been saying since the rumors came out he should be the head coach there. He's the former quarterback there. They love him there.
But let me ask you this. This is really where I'm going with that, Logan. And I don't know this general manager. I really don't know him to know if he's good or bad. I don't know him. I understand that he was involved with the whole Urban Meyer. But you know what? People don't understand. Urban Meyer was not a GM call. That was a Shad Khan call. He was enamored with this guy. They were going to hire Urban Meyer regardless of whoever the GM was there.
Right.
That's all on the whole Urban Meyer thing.
I believe his name is Trent Baalke, one of the two.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Baalke. Here's what I don't understand, and this is what I'm trying to get your opinion, because I don't understand. People are trying to tie this in, and I don't know I don't know how to feel about this. They're trying to tie it in. Like they're saying that it's sad for Byron Leftwich because he didn't get the job. But my position is, well, he wanted the firing of another man that's supposed to have a position above him. How can we feel bad for somebody who wanted somebody else fired and was butting heads before you even got the job. I mean, you're applying for the job. You're supposed to look attractive, but yet you're butting heads with somebody above you, whether you like him or not. And then he pulls himself out. Now we're supposed to feel bad for him. I don't understand. That's the part I don't understand.
I can break that down to you easily, Jason. So check this out, right? Out of all the coaches that have been hired last year, right, this year, a lot of these coaches are first-time head coaches with no experience, no winning record, no college experience, nothing. Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy have extensive coordinator experience, extensive NFL experience. They should have been the number 2 options for every single franchise in the NFL, right? When you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets, the New York Giants, right? You don't have many options, right? You need to go for the best person available. If Byron Leftwich says that he cannot work together with this particular person for whatever reason, you get rid of that guy for the betterment of your franchise. If you truly believe that Byron Leftwich is the best option to take your franchise from the gutter to championships, you do what you have to do. It's not about really feeling bad for him, right? Who are the 2 best coaching options right now? Byron Leftwich.
That's what I'm saying. So and that's where it gets so weird for me. But it gets so, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just a structural kind of person, right? Maybe this is the military loyalty thing that comes out of me. And this is where I think it is. I think this is where my judgment gets clouded. Is I feel like, so we're saying that the coach has more power than what the GM has. And I thought GM
not necessarily.
Well, he does, because watch this. A guy who's never had a head coaching job, a great coordinator. Nobody's going to doubt that he's not a good coordinator. And I'm not even going to doubt that he shouldn't be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he's coming in with no head coaching experience, and all of a sudden he's saying, well, I'm not going to take this job unless you fire him. So now all of a sudden, but now all of a sudden, somebody who doesn't even have a job in your organization is basically firing the guy above him. That's weird. I mean, how do you even go to a job interview like that? Like, I know I'm interviewing you, but you just asked for me to be fired.
Jay,
I don't get it.
Outside of 2 seasons in Jacksonville, that franchise has sucked. So honestly, everyone in that building needs to be fired, Jason.
Right. So and I get that. So that makes experience. So maybe what we really should be saying is, Shad Khan, before you bring in a guy like Byron Leftwich, hey, Balky, you're out of here, man. You're just done. Just get rid of them all the way around. Bring in who you think. Or if you're the owner, do you just bring in Leftwich because that's just the guy you want no matter what? And then say, Leftwich, your job now is to hire a GM because we got to make sure that you're happy. And so Jay, that's what we're saying. That's really what we're saying, isn't it?
This is what I would do, right? If I was an owner, I would want my team, my organization to have chemistry and to be able to work with one another, right? If at anywhere in my organization there's some dissension, then someone has to leave. So if Byron Leftwich is saying I can't work with you, and if Byron Leftwich is the best option to take my franchise from the gutter to championships, and championships bring money, then you do what's best for the franchise.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, well, you don't want to hire somebody that. But what if you? Okay, that's what I said. If you bring in another GM, anybody, I don't know, whoever it is you want to bring in. And then Byron Leftwich says, hey, I can't get along with this guy either. Then do you just let them go? I mean, my point is, do you not let – I guess the way you would do it is – I guess the way you'd have to do it, right, is you would have the owner, Byron Leftwich, in an interview, and both of them together would have to interview the GM to make sure that the GM is a good fit with Leftwich and a good fit with ownership. And I guess that way everybody's straight, everybody's good to go. Which I'm good with that.
Last point, Logan. My bad. Last point, Logan.
Go ahead.
I see what you're saying, Jason, but – my last 2 things. One, what Byron Leftwich was asking for is common practice. It's common practice. You want to come in with your guys, with your team. And number 2, it's not like Byron Leftwich was saying, hey, there's like 10 other GMs that I don't like. He was speaking specifically to the current GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just that one person alone. It was that specific person he couldn't work with. That's it.
Right. I get it. And let's be honest. And I agree with you, Phil. I think if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I guess really honestly, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you suck so bad and Urban Meyer wasn't your answer and you're afraid of losing fans or whatever the case may be, then yeah, you get. And look, let's be honest. I'm a Byron Leftwich supporter. I want everybody to understand that I support this guy. To the point that I would get rid of Matt McCarthy and I would bring him in if I could. Okay, I support Byron Leftwich. I do. And then, and I wish him the best. I don't know where he's going to land up. Maybe he lands up. Maybe he goes to New Orleans and brings New Orleans culture back up. But I do think Byron Leftwich is going to get a job. I truly want to believe that Flores will get a job. And I think that this ship will get righted. How long it takes, I don't know. But I do think the NFL is going to get this right. They're going to go through some stumbling blocks because, like I said, we're growing, and with growth comes growing pains. But they are going to grow. I really believe that.
And talking about the GM for the Jaguars, I was doing some research on him. Balky has earned, and this is a quote from looks like a Jacksonville Jaguars site here, not the official one, but like a fan site or whatnot. It says Balky's earned the reputation in league circles as someone who is a snake in the front office, will fight for his own job security while throwing others under the bus despite his poor track record as a GM. There were reports early in the process that he would hinder the Jaguars' coaching search, including rumors that a lot of Jaguars' top targets for head coach have reservations working with him, and those reports and rumors pretty clearly have some validity to them as it's played out. So, I mean, it's not just Byron Leftwich, right?
Well, and that's the thing. If I knew that, and I guess that even more supports what I was saying earlier. Right. If I knew that, I would have had Balky out there before I even went after Byron Leftwich. I would have had Balky done and gone, honestly. And I don't know if these owners or if Shad Khan knew of Balky and his relationship with other potential hires. But if I'm the owner, if I'm Khan, and I know my GM is having issues with multiple head coaching candidates, I'm going to get rid of them because I got to get somebody to coach this team, and I can't have this kind of cancer. I already screwed. Watch this. If I'm Khan, I already screwed up with Urban Meyer, so I can't keep screwing up. At some point, I'm going to have to get this right. And I see the red flags that I had with Urban Meyer. Now I got the same red flags with Balky. Okay, Balky, you're out of here. You just got to go, and we're going to start this all over again. And that is what Jacksonville needs to do, honestly. But I'm off my rant.
And we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Free Byron Leftwich.
There we go. We kind of talked a little bit, but like you said, more head coaches have came out saying they were paid to tank. You guys have any other thoughts on this, Phil?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I heard about Hugh Jackson coming out, obviously, and then as recently as today or yesterday, Marvin Lewis came out too. Two prominent personnel within the NFL circles had both said that they were paid an undisclosed amount of money to essentially lose games, and that's just unethical, man. That's not what the game is about. Okay. Shame.
And on all honesty, I think that Hugh Jackson and Byron Leftwich, I wish they would have came out with this sooner. But at the same time, I get it. They're African Americans. Maybe they felt like if they did, they would never get another job again, and they're just trying to hang on to whatever position they could do to make their name. So I get it, man. There's probably a certain level of fear there. So it just makes the game of football just look so damn ugly.
And going back to the Giants hire is the New York Giants in almost 100 years they've been a football team. They have never had a minority head coach in their entire franchise history. Don't you think Brian Flores would have been a perfect candidate? He's from Brooklyn, right? He understands the culture.
He's a perfect candidate. Absolutely.
He was the perfect candidate. And like I said, we're not throwing any shade at Brian Dable, happy that he got the job. But it's just that's kind of getting scrutinized right now with everything that's going on. And if it wasn't for Bill Belichick's lack of a technological presence, then this might not have been a thing, right? So,
here's the thing, Logan, though, right? You tailor, and Phil, I know you know this too. You tailor your resume for the job you're going to be hired for.
Right.
What I mean by that is Dable does not have experience, number one, as a head coach. Number two, as a rebuilding head coach. And number three, as a rebuilding head coach with success.
Right.
None of that is on his resume. So what I'm saying is maybe you give Brian Dable a job like Minnesota where he doesn't have to rebuild it. He just needs to take over and implement what he has and use it as a growing experience as he's getting, and implement. He doesn't have to go all the way back to the beginning. So maybe he's more successful in that realm. Whereas you get a guy like Brian Flores who has rebuilt a team, has had success at rebuilding the team, is a head coach, and success as a head coach. And you got a team that basically, by all intents and purposes, is in the garbage dump. Yeah. And the only way you get out of the garbage dump is by giving somebody who has the keys, who has the blueprint on how to get out of the garbage dump. That's who you give the job to. And guess what, guys? That person's Brian freaking Flores. I'm just saying. And I'm not even that's in common sense. But okay, I'm off my rant.
All right, let's go. Let's talk about some Michigan football, some Minnesota football. Jim Harbaugh, right? He's going back to Michigan. What's next for the Vikings? And Jay, I called this from the beginning. I had said there ain't no way he's leaving Michigan. I know that everyone was saying, he should go to Minnesota. Not what Michigan did this year, man. I knew he was going to stay, but he's going back. So who's going to be the next head coach for Minnesota? They already got the GM. So Phil, who do you think is going to go on?
Well, first and foremost, is it John Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, John Harbaugh. Yeah,
it's Jim. John Harbaugh is with the Ravens.
As I was thank you, Jay. So Jim Harbaugh. Right?
This is Jim Harbaugh.
First and foremost, him potentially going back to the NFL, it wasn't much of a move shaker for me. I mean, what does he won? When he was with San Fran, and when I say that, what I mean by that is, right, to me, regular season wins means nothing outside of getting to the playoffs, right? And then once you get to the playoffs, if you're not going to the Super Bowl, if you're not constantly playing for rings every single year, then what are you doing in the NFL as a coach, right? So to me, he doesn't move the needle as a coach to me by going to Minnesota. And you look at his resume back there at Michigan. What has he won? Right? He may have had maybe one or two great seasons at Michigan, but at no point in his career has he won a national championship or a Super Bowl. So he would be going to a Minnesota franchise with Kirk Cousins, the Mr. Regular Season darling, but he can't do anything past the regular season, right? You have Dalvin Cook, which is a great talent, but he can't stay healthy. I mean, it would have still been the circle of mediocrity for Minnesota. And then Michigan, they recruit decently, but they're not on a regular basis competing for like top 10 national signing classes or anything of that nature, man. I don't know. So as far as who's the next coach in Minnesota, that's a good question, Jay. What do you think?
So to your point, Phil, the knock on Harbaugh isn't the fact that he could do it. The knock on Harbaugh is that he doesn't stay there long enough to actually do it. Because you look at it, when he went to Michigan, it takes a hot minute, number one, to go there and rebuild a reputation, rebrand it, go into homes and try to get the recruiting classes to do it. I mean, it takes a lot of time to take a team that's basically, for all intents and purposes, damn near in the gutter out of the rankings, and then put them in the top 4 teams in the league.
About 4 years. About 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years. But you know what? But that's kind of what it takes to get a college football program, off and running. You know what I'm saying? To get them to that level, right? Now, you give Harbaugh maybe, 2 or 3 more seasons of recruiting and bringing in the right guys, and I think he could do it. I honestly think he could do it. You know what I'm saying? Georgia could do it under and how many times did it take, what's his face? Kirby Smart to finally beat Saban, but he did it. He kept recruiting.
It's a difference, though. It's a difference with Kirby Smart, right? So Kirby Smart comes from a national championship pedigree, coaching for Nick Saban as a defensive coordinator, right? He came to Georgia. His first few years, he's playing for national championships. Harbaugh has been at Michigan for longer than 4 years, and he hasn't done nearly half what Kirby Smart is doing. He's
I get that, but I don't know. But was Georgia as bad as Michigan? Was pretty damn bad, Phil. They were pretty bad when Harbaugh went there. Was Georgia as I don't know. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is
Michigan had just got done with Denard Shoelace Robinson as quarterback before he got there, I want to say. So I mean, Michigan might not have been a top team, but they weren't like.
Well, they weren't ranked. I think they were unranked for the most part. That's what I'm saying. He took an unranked team. He took an unranked team, built it up, and then put it in the national championship Final Four. What I'm saying is this: he just didn't stay there long enough. I think if he stayed there long, I think he could do it. I honestly think he could do it. But here's the deal: he also took a San Francisco 49ers team, got him to a Super Bowl, and then left. Like he just didn't. I know he didn't. He wasn't successful. They didn't win. But at the same time. My problem with Harbaugh is I think he's a great, excellent coach, and I think he'd be a good hire for anybody. The problem is when you do the interview, if I'm interviewing Harbaugh, I'm saying like, hey, guy, look, you did great with these programs, but my problem with you is, or my concern with you is that you didn't stay there long enough to really see it through. If I bring you in here to Minnesota, are you going to see this through? Are you going to get us to the promised land? And like what is your strategy? Because everywhere you've gone, you've gotten them there, but you haven't stayed there long enough. That's length of service for me.
My only problem with Harbaugh, well, not my only problem, but my problem with him is the same problem I have with the coaching hire practices in the NFL, right? We've seen what Harbaugh can do. I've seen what he can do. Yes, he made it to 1 Super Bowl out of his entire career in the NFL. He's finally made it to the college football playoffs, right? His 1 year out of his entire time at Michigan. I know what he can do, and it's not winning the big game. So let me get some fresh blood. Let me get an Eric Bieniemy. Let me get a Byron Leftwich. He's not a bad coach. But I've seen what he can do. Give me someone new.
The thing for me is before the season started, I remember I told Jay, if Michigan didn't perform this year, I thought Harbaugh should have been fired.
Yep.
Because since he's been there up until this season, it's been up and down. He gets to bowl games, he wins one, he loses three, he wins another one. And you can't have that. Not when Michigan is a prestigious school, prestigious university. You have a big name head coach, right? Jay mentioned one who had been to a Super Bowl, had all this hype around him as Michigan can be a powerhouse for all these years. And, like you said, 4 or 5 years into it, now they finally got to a Final Four, but they got beat in the first round against Georgia,
Logan,
who ended up winning.
For comparison's sake, right? If LSU can fire head coach Ed Orgeron 2 years after winning the national championship,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You damn sure you better freaking fire Jim Harbaugh.
Hey, Phil, we can't say that on TV, bye. We got to keep it clean. Hey, but for real, let me ask you this, though. Okay, if Harbaugh, because now I think he's signing, a 5-year extension, I believe?
He's going to be there for a little bit longer. Yep.
So that gives him 5 years. Now, listen, that gives him more than ample enough time to win a national champion, especially since you're coming off of the Final Four. So that means you should have quite a bit left, and you still should be drafted pretty well.
It's going to be tough, though, for him, Jay. They're losing a lot of pieces.
Right. If he gets a national championship within the next, let's say, 3 to 4 years, do we change the narrative on Harbaugh? Or do we keep it as, he got one, but,
I think that you can – I think if he gets one –
you know what I'm saying? Does the narrative finally change on him?
But it's tough, Jay.
Yeah.
He has to get past Ohio State first and Michigan State. He can't even beat those two teams. Like, come on.
He finally got past them a little bit this year, right?
Yeah, this year.
But
and to Jay's point, he had a great year this year.
Right.
You know what it is? If you don't bleed who that, Phil ain't 100% behind you.
Right.
He's just critical.
But
look, as an owner, right? As a general manager, as an owner, you have to, right? You have to be critical,
right?
Because if your goal isn't to win championships, then what are you doing, right? I tell you right now, I'll give you a scenario, right? You got 2 quarterbacks, one who averages 5,000 yards per season every season, but can't win a Super Bowl, or you have quarterback number 2 who averages 2,000 yards per season, 20 touchdowns, but he makes the Super Bowl every single year. Which quarterback do you want, Jay?
Yeah. Hey, let me. No, I get it. No, I get your point. I do. I get it. And let me ask you. Okay, Phil, you're a Louisiana guy. Do you bleed crawfish? I've seen you. I've seen your Instagram posts. I've seen your Facebook posts. Like, you make the best, most beautiful food ever. Like when I'm drunk and I'm looking at your posts, I just get instantaneously hungry. Now let me ask you this: as a fellow Cajun guy, right? Okay. Cajun down out the bayou, right? Does it piss you off? The fact that does it piss you off that Cincinnati says "who day" instead of "who dat"? Or did they do it because it's a marketing thing and they can't say that because it's probably copyrighted?
It's hard for me to answer that question because their quarterback is Mr. Joey Burrow and he comes from LSU, so I kind of had to show them.
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I thought you were going to go a different route. I thought you were going to go and talk about the new coach, right? Brian Kelly suddenly getting some swag to him.
Don't talk about my coach negative now, Logan.
I was about to say, we're going to get to it in a minute. But
hey, listen, he went to Notre Dame, so, he doesn't exactly have the best resume in terms of winning national championships.
Maybe some of that good.
But guess what? He averages 10 wins a season, and he's gone to the national championship or college football playoffs twice. Got to give it to him.
All right, let's do some NBA, right? All-Star Weekend's coming up finally, right? We missed it last year. And the dunk contest has been announced, the candidates. Let me get them all pulled up here. But just, guys, has the dunk contest kind of lost its flair? Has it lost its excitement? The participants in this upcoming year are Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, Cole Anthony, and Juan Toscano Anderson. Hooray.
What you got, baby?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think the dunk contest, along with the All-Star Week as a whole, has kind of lost its luster, at least from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to remember living in Germany. Can't wait to wake up with my dad and watch the All-Star Game weekend, see what celebrities sitting courtside, see the amazing dunks. But it's like, how many years now? You can only be but so creative in the dunk contest.
Yeah,
right.
You've
almost seen about every single dunk possible. But I think it's just because the players don't take it seriously. It's hard for us as fans to take it seriously. Like even the All-Star Game itself. Like, I get it, right? You don't want to risk injury right before the playoffs happen, but it's like, if you don't have any passion for it, why should I have passion for it?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what it is for me, Phil. This is why I think it's lost its luster. It's lost its luster because if you look at the above picture, right, you got Dominique Wilkins. Now, this is name a few: Dr. Dominique Wilkins, Dr. J, Michael Jordan. Freaking Clyde Drexler, whatever. You got like star guys. You got a star guy. Like you got the cream of the crop, right? Yep. But then we go down to what we got now, and these are like dudes that are like deep off the bench, coming out and playing. I'm not saying Jalen Green. It's not his fault because it's his first year there. But you don't really have the hyped up guys. Like you don't have the John Morants or whatever else, going at it, or the Darren Foxes. You don't have the hyped up guys going at it.
Right. It's weird, Jay, because don't get me wrong, right? Not even going back in time, not every dunk contest is great, right? We've seen plenty of ones from the 70s, 80s just kind of suck, honestly. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was nice. It was great. And then a couple of years ago, right, with Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, it kind of brought it back, right? Everyone was excited for the dunk contest because those guys put on a heck of a show. And now, like you said, we're getting guys who aren't really nationally known. I get Jalen Green's a recent, pretty high draft pick. But, if you showed a casual fan, right, someone maybe who hasn't watched the NBA in 5 years, the bottom list of these guys here, they wouldn't know who any of them are.
Exactly.
There's no star ability, at least at the moment, right? Who knows what these guys' careers are going to do?
Like who do you want to see, Logan? Do you want to see Toscano or do you want to see John Morant? Do you want to see,
And also, John Suggs saying Cole Anthony's not even known for dunking. Why is he in the dunk contest?
Exactly.
Like I was saying earlier,
exactly.
The players don't care. So those top guys, the John Morant, the Zach LaVine,
they're not going to go in.
They're not playing this All-Star weekend.
No.
Yeah.
And
just, that's why I guess to that point, that's why it's lost its luster. It's lost its luster because we don't know anything about these guys other than maybe we don't.
No one cares about any of these guys. I'm sorry, but these are not guys who you're going to pay big money for to watch dunk a basketball. If they have a great showing, good for them, but they're not getting my ticket.
Which is another reason why I'm saying every year that the NBA grows a year older, every year they grow a year older is another year they lose a little bit more soul, a little bit more of what makes the fabric of the NBA from back in the day to where it is now, just a little bit less. I'm sorry, but today's NBA compared to when I grew up, and I can only compare to when I grew up, but and look at the above picture. The above picture tells you everything. But the above picture back in the day, you had a better product. The product that was on the court was just better. It had more.
I blame Steph Curry for this. I blame Steph Curry for the same thing.
Exactly, and I get it. But then when you look at where the NBA is now, you go watch this. You ever been to Taco Bell? I remember back in the day. Listen, I remember back in the day when I can't put it in the screen, but the tacos were like this long, like $1 went a long damn way. Now the tacos are like this long. You know what I'm saying?
Same with any fast food.
It's like watered down. It's just a watered down version of what it used to be, and it's horrible. It's just freaking horrible. I hate it.
All you have is kids that want to go 1-on-5, or you have kids that want to shoot the three from half court.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all you got. The mid-range jumper is a lost art form, with the exception of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant still shoots the mid-range jumper, and that's why I still love Kevin Durant, by the way.
And DeMar DeRozan, sorry.
Yep.
DeRozan, yeah, you're right. DeRozan shoots it as well.
All right, guys. Trade deadline's coming up next week on February the 10th. Name a trade that you think will happen. Phil, what do you got in your mind?
A trade that I think will happen,
or a player. If you don't have a trade in mind, name a player you think will get moved.
I don't have a trade that I think will happen. I have a trade that I want to happen. What I want to happen is for my Lakers to get rid of Russell Westbrook and that albatross of a contract. That ain't gonna happen. But like, who's gonna take that? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So honestly, I think this is really a down year as far as some of the top teams are concerned because of injuries and COVID and things of that nature. So the NBA is actually pretty wide open. I know where I got you. Okay. I want to see the Sixers stop doing my guy Ben Simmons dirty. Let the man go. Let him be free. Trade him.
John Suggs saying Jeremy Grant will get moved. John, where do you think Jeremy will go to? Give me your trade there.
Oh,
he said Sabonis will be on a new team also. Okay.
Sabonis will be on a new team. I absolutely believe that. I believe that Indiana is definitely heading for a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I think so.
But you know what I think? The two that I think would make the most sense And they both involved Ben Simmons, by the way. The one that I've heard in the rumor mill was the one I heard in the rumor mill was Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons.
Okay.
They're saying that Bradley Beal is starting to soften up his stance in terms of loyalty to the Washington Wizards, and that he would be open to possibly moving. And Ben Simmons is a name right now with Philadelphia that's being thrown out, obviously. And the money makes sense because right now Bradley Beal is due 181 million over 4 on his extension that he will be signing, unless he goes to free agency, and then it jumps up to like 242 million. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get that extension done. Right now, Simmons is at 177 million for 5 years. So the money pretty much, give or take 10 or 11 million in 1 year makes sense. If that does not do good, then the one that I would like to see have happen, and I don't have any, like I said, I don't have anything in the fire because my team's rebuilding. But what I would like to see happen would possibly be Russell Westbrook for Bradley Beal, because again, the money offsets. It puts Russell Westbrook, unfortunately, back in Washington, but in a star role. And I think Bradley Beal could probably coincide very nicely with LeBron James.
The only hiccup for the Bradley Beal with Ben Simmons is that the Sixers don't want to offload Tyrese Maxey or their other young stud, I think Matthew Tibble or something to that effect.
I think it's like Thibault or something like that. Yeah,
he's an elite wing defender for his age, and he's on a friendly contract. So the Sixers don't want to get rid of any young talent. And Bradley Beal, he of course, if I was him, I want to leave Washington D.C. too. Let me go with Joel Embiid and win a championship. I would love to if I was him, but I don't see it happening. What
would be good for your Lakers, though, honestly, Phil, and if I look at this picture, what would be good for your Lakers is if somehow or another they could put it together a package trade, and I don't know what it would look like, but they got to put a trade together for Eric Gordon, because Eric Gordon is a great 3-point shooter. He's very, very highly consistent, and he plays good defense. And he could align himself with, and he's young, so you got another young guy that you can add to your rotation. And he can come off the bench. He could be your starter. He's played both rotation and starter, and he has no problems with it. So he would be very versatile and a great shooter for your team. And you can get him at a very low price.
I think Eric Gordon's been in the league for a minute, Logan. I'm not sure how old he is, but
he's in the early 30s. Watch this. He can still shoot the ball and run the court with them guys.
Eric Gordon's 33.
Yeah, but he's still a great age, good deal. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I've seen him play, and I see what he's meant for the Rockets, and the guy is just a pure shooter. Like, he is just clutch when it comes to the 3-point line, which is kind of where you guys are lacking a little bit since you lost Cartavius Pope and Eric Kuzma. So you're losing a little bit of your 3-point depth. Carmelo Anthony, he's kind of spotty these days.
Well, you mean Kyle Kuzma? But yeah, our issue is
Kyle Kuzma. I always get his name messed up, but yeah.
Our issue is age, depth, right, and fit. You know what I'm saying? We have all these old age stars who they can't contribute on a consistent basis anymore, and we don't have any 3-point shooting. We have none.
Which is another reason why I think you guys are hurting right now going up against some of these other teams is the lack of 3-point shooting or consistent 3-point shooting.
An interesting trade that I think would work for both parties. One that we've brought up a little bit. I think, right, Ben Simmons, once out of Philadelphia, we'll get to him in a little bit. Who's another star in the league whose team's struggling right now who could be moving somewhere?
Dame.
How about Ben Simmons for Dame Lillard?
Yeah.
Get Lillard.
Yeah.
Get Embiid. Right? Trade whatever the hell. Whatever.
How does that help Portland?
It doesn't help Portland at all.
It doesn't help Portland at all. But the way Portland's looking, they're 10 games under 500, right? And you can't keep those two guys forever, so why not rebuild? And I don't
know, though. I mean, Ben Simmons is still kind of young, and if you could build around Ben Simmons or with Ben Simmons, that might work for you.
You can build around
him.
So
I'll tell you right here. Here's the best team for Ben Simmons, right? As far as fit goes, the best team for him to go to will be the Celtics. Trade him for Marcus Smart and a few picks, because what's hurting the Celtics is, to me, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they aren't fit to be the primary ball handlers for that team. They need a point guard to set the table for them and let them eat. If they have Ben Simmons, defensively, they'll be a monster. Offensively, they have more balance. That'd be a great trade.
Yeah,
I do like the Gordon project.
Gordon could go to Boston too, because he's going to be out of Toronto. It looks like.
I think Gordon could play really good with Embiid, and he's a good, reliable guy. So I can see that working possibly.
All right.
Yeah, Gordon Dragic is the kind of player he can fit on pretty much any championship aspiring team right now, honestly, with skill set.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do a little bit of soccer, right? So, Trinity Rodman to become the NWSL's highest paid player after re-signing with the Washington Spirit for $1.1 million. Now, the name Rodman, right, might ring a bell. This is actually Dennis Rodman's daughter. So, now the highest paid player in the National Women's Soccer League. So, first off, round of applause, but, man, only $1 million. Man.
And this is good for women. This is
crazy.
Great for women's sports. Right. And this is Women's Appreciation in Sports Month.
Right.
So it ties in really good for this.
No doubt. Phil, what did you think about this when you saw this?
I think it's awesome whenever we finally see our women counterparts start to get recognized and treated how they deserve to be treated, especially the athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to delve off topic too much, but it's similar to like Becky Hammon, the coach in the WNBA. Yeah. She's one of the first coaches to get a salary of $1 million, which is it's still not enough compared to some of our male counterparts. But I'm happy to finally see some of them start getting recognized for what they deserve. Honestly, man, so I think it's great.
McLovin?
Yeah, hey, in my opinion, hey, look, she's 19 years old, for crying out loud. 19. I don't know what 19-year-old could do with 1.1 million, but I'm pretty sure their list is long and deep. I'm pretty sure that list is long and deep. And listen, if you guys know anything about women, they can spend some money, so she's gonna have a good time spending that money. But no, hey, listen, she's a 19-year-old forward. She signed a 4-year, 1.1 million. What's that? 19, 20, 19, 21. That's like 24, 25 on her next contract. Still super, super young. Probably make another, 2 or 3 million, as she gets better and better. But it's a great thing. I mean, she's the highest played female ever in women's soccer.
Yep.
And probably even women's sports. I don't know of another woman that's making $1 million. Is there anybody in the WNBA that signed $1 million contract? I don't think so.
It's funny you said that, because even though, and salute to Becky Hammon, even though she's becoming the first women's head coach to receive $1 million salary,
yeah,
the players are still getting paid pennies on the dollar, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's my point. That's my point.
Actually, okay,
it's terrible. It's terrible how the WNBA. It's terrible, Phil.
So yeah, Jay, there are, it looks like, I found this here on Statista.com. The highest paid players in the WNBA in 2021. Looks like there's like a 4 or 5 way tie with a few players for like $220,000.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
That's like the vet. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the vet minimum in the NBA. That's the vet minimum.
And you know what? Hey, I understand how business. I understand
that's
revenue,
crazy.
right? I understand TV deals. I understand money. But that's ridiculous, man.
And also, too,
what I want to highlight is just how good this girl is.
Yeah, right.
We all kind of know how good Dennis Rodman was and what he brought to the game of basketball. But this girl was a second-round pick out of the 21 draft. She has no college experience because of COVID. She got a title in her first year of acquisition. She's the youngest player in league history. She's the rookie of the year, and she had 7 goals and 7 assists. I mean, this girl is putting up some stuff, man. I mean, she ain't no punk, man. She's no punk. And for women, for women in sports, I mean, what a great way to honor women in sports with shining a light on her and what she's doing. And hey, honestly, the sky's the damn limit for her. Yeah. And I think what she's doing is probably going to elevate other women as they come behind her. So she not only I guess you could add on Trailblazer. You can put Trailblazer behind her name, and maybe finally recognize women's sports.
My last point is, this is good. This is very good. But they have a long way to go still in women's sports. They have a long way to go still.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. They have a long way to go. But every day you start with something. You got to start somewhere, and that's a good place to start.
Happy for now the highest paid player for National Women's Soccer. Much deserved, right? Jay just brought up the stats there for you. But it's still crazy, man. We look at $1.1 million is now the highest paid female athlete for this sport. And meanwhile, the 13th man on the Lakers is probably getting paid $7 million right now, right?
Exactly.
To not play.
Right. Look at John. What's John Wall doing right now? He's getting paid $30 million to text on his phone. And just to kind of go back to, because we brought up the WNBA, I found talking about Becky Hammon, right? The first coach to now get over $1 million. A player, right? Liz Cambridge is now blasting the WNBA. She tweeted out the other day, Yes, the WNBA, where a head coach can get paid 4 times the highest paid player's Supermax contract.
Supermax. The highest paid
The
player.
Supermax was $220,000. That was what it was. That's where there was those 4 players with the same amount of money for $220 some odd thousand. Let me finish it.
That's crazy to me. That's just nuts.
Yeah. She said that where a head coach can get paid 4 times the highest paid player's Supermax contract, and y'all think I'm gonna spend another season upgrading my seat on a flight to get the games out of my own pocket?
Ridiculous, man.
Ridiculous. If you're a woman, you probably get paid more if you were doing endorsements than your own actual contract.
I believe.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but
I
believe it was during March Madness of last year, maybe when they were doing a comparison between the women's living situation and their
we talked about that.
They're stupid. These women had what I would like to equate to a small physical therapy room.
Yeah,
worth of equipment. And the men get the most top notch of everything.
It did come out today that the WNBA now they're raising over $75 million in first ever funding round, valuing the league and teams at $1 billion. So they are putting some more money into it. So we'll see if that means that these players are about to get paid some more money. Hopefully so, but at least this looks like it's in the right step. And also, when I was looking this up, shout out to the Raiders. Mark Davis, he said he 100% agrees with the comments I just wrote. I just read about Liz Cambridge. So shout out to the Raiders one more time.
Hey!
Well, let's keep it going here. We're almost through the end. Will spring training start on time? There's not much baseball news. The teams hate each other. They hate the owners, the GMs. There's lockouts happening. There's meetings happening with nothing going on. So just yes or no. Will it start on time? Will spring training start on time? It's supposed to start very soon.
Hey, Phil, what do you got? I'll get mine.
Yay or nay?
I'm going to give it a nay.
Jay?
I'm going to give it a very close possible yay because they finally have brought in the mediator. They have now agreed to bring in a mediator. And now if the mediator can do some magic, I think if we go into spring training, I think it may just be a week or two, but I think baseball is going to get this right, and that's why they brought the mediator in, because they realized they couldn't do it on their own. I think we're going to be okay, guys. If we lose a week or two of spring training, I'm okay with that.
MLB is not going to be – look, they already know what happened in 94 with the lockout, right? They're not trying to have that happen again. Because if you lose time on the field, you lose money in the owner's pockets. So I think they'll get it done. I think, like Jay said, maybe if they are late, maybe by like a week or so. We got John Suggs saying they will not start on time. I say 3 weeks behind. You did mention, Jay, they brought in that mediator. I don't know why they didn't bring him in to begin with. But
yeah, I don't know why either. That would have been.
I think
that would have been the first thing I would have done.
I think one of the big holdups is they're trying to get minor league players a lot more money because they ain't getting paid nothing right now either.
Hey, I'm running for president, man, off my common sense. Anybody want to vote for me? You can go to jasonmcmahon.com and I'm gonna start me a GoFundMe. Phil, you're gonna be my vice president, and then when I'm done in 4 years, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you're gonna be the first the second black African American to ever hold the title of presidency.
Hey,
we can beat Kamala.
I'm gonna take my cut off the top. All right.
All right, guys. Well, we all know that I believe yesterday was National Signing Day, and that leaves the Texas A&M Aggies having the #1 ranked recruiting class of 2022. Now, Phil, you were a little bit heated when we even just went through this topic in the beginning. What did you think about this?
Of course, because up until the 11th hour, so I'm a huge college football fan. I'm an LSU fan, as you all know, right? So I've been following this very closely. And I'm upset that Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban got on live TV and pretty much lied, right? They lied. I'm not calling them a liar, but if there's a word close to it, there'll probably be that, right? Yep. So look, Jimbo Fisher came out saying, hey, we didn't pay all these guys no money. They came to us because they love our school. They love to play for us. Come on, man. So, yeah.
They do. Everything's better at Texas. You didn't know that?
Texas A&M, the school might not have paid those players, right? But that business collective in Texas A&M, they paid for those players, right? Come on now, Jimbo Fisher. You got the #1 recruiting class of all time at Texas A&M. You haven't won anything yet?
Yeah.
Just be honest. Just be honest, man.
No, Phil, they've only gotten one. I mean, this is our second top 10. Look, Saban's had a billion of them, okay? But we're okay. Let me tell you something, Phil. Put some respect on A&M. Let's give them a little bit of respect. Okay, we got good brisket. We don't got no good gator tips, but we got some good brisket, okay? We don't got to go no good Bodine.
No, in all seriousness, though, I think the whole NIL stuff is really going to change the way college football is played, and it's going to affect the balance of power.
Yeah, we really should.
Just like John Suggs is saying here, Texas and Florida should always have top 5 recruiting classes, mainly because of NIL deals now. Those states, you don't got to pay income tax.
Hey, listen, I would.
Yeah, I would go.
Here's the deal. Hey, real quick. A&M got 29 commits plus 1 transfer portal. Yep. They got Shemar Stewart, the number 3 overall recruit at defensive end. They got the 4th of top 10 additions, 29 verbal commits, 13 Sports Illustrated 99 members. Jacoby Matthews, number 1 recruit in Louisiana as a safety. I think Phil actually pointed out he's number 2. And he still got number 1, but that's okay, Phil. We're going to let you have it. Yeah. We got 4 5-star recruits and 3 offensive linemen, 1 wide receiver, 2 quarterbacks in the top 300 with Connor Wegman as our quarterback at 6'2", 205, 4-star recruit. And we got 1 transfer portal and Max Johnson out of Louisiana Tech, I think it was.
Yep.
Jay, question for you, right? Out of all those players you just named, how many of those players out of their own volition actually want to go to A&M? And how many of those players went to A&M because their parents?
There you go. There you go. Here comes Phil with the political dirt. Here comes Phil. No. It's okay, Phil. Throw some shade. It's all right. It's all good. Look, Jimbo got his reclass. I don't care how we got him, Phil. We got him. I don't care. I don't even care how we get the national championship. I just want one.
And Jay,
with that old money.
Yeah. According to 24/7 Sports, they had 17 guys who were top 100 ranked national players. 17. I mean, like Jay mentioned, they had a plethora of 5-stars. They had Evan Stewart, 11th ranked. But also, let's not forget, they also have Walter Nolan, the defensive end, number 2 ranked nationally. Shemar Stewart, like Jay said, top 9. So they have a ton of talent here. And, bro, A&M's got to do something with all these guys. If they don't get
or Jimbo Fisher's not going to have a job next year.
I'm going to tell you right now, half of these kids, because like you said, Logan, all these 5-star players, you can't put them on the field at the same time. So a lot of these guys will be transferring next year. I believe that.
We will see. We'll mark it down.
As long as keep the cream of the crop, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right. And last topic here. Ben Simmons, right? Our good buddy and pal here at the show. He's been fined $19 million reportedly by the Sixers this year. And he could also lose another $12 million by the end of the 2022 season. Phil, will he play or is he just going to ride this out?
I mean, he doesn't need to, right? On top of endorsement deals and the money he's already made,
he'll be fine.
He does not have to play the rest of the season. It's going to hurt the Sixers more because the Sixers are wasting Joel Embiid's prime, right? Ben Simmons is cool, but Joel Embiid's having a monster year.
Yep.
A monster year, a year in which he's barely missed any games. How many more seasons will he have like this? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Ben Simmons is worried about the money at all. It's chess, not checkers, right? They're going to move him one way or the other, whether he walks or they trade him. But he's not playing for the Sixers ever again.
Nope.
Here's my thing, Phil. This is okay. Hate is a strong word. I don't want to use the word hate. This is why I dislike athletes.
There you go.
I dislike athletes. Why, you say? Yeah, I guess you could throw jealousy in there. You could probably throw some envy in there, whatever. These dudes are making these. Okay, Ben Simmons he's losing all this money. I get it, man. He don't care. You're right, Phil. He's got all this money, but I'm thinking like, damn, Jay, damn. If you just had a tenth of his talent and you had that money coming in, bruh, I ain't turning down shit. I'm not listen, you ain't taking my money. I don't care. Listen, I want all that $19 million. Mm-hmm. I want all that $12 million. I want all that $177 million. I want all of it. Every last inch of it. I want all of it. Because you know what? Maybe I don't need all that money. You can say that. Hey, Jay, you don't need 177. A man only needs so much money in the world. I say, you know what? You're right. But what could I do to help out my fellow brother with some of that money? Now, yes, I can use it as a tax write-off. Sure. But how much good could I do with that? What programs could I facilitate? What charities could I help? I don't know. But just to lose that money, I don't know, Phil. It's like
this is what I'll say, Jay. Right?
I watch a man with talent, and you're just sitting there. I don't know, Phil. I can't help it.
I can only look at it from my perspective. I'm not a professional athlete, right? So I can't look at it from the eyes of Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jets. Right? I can't look at it from their eyes. I can only look at it from my eyes, right? And I know that if I play for a tight-knit community, right, a 12-man team with a head coach, we're brothers, right? And I had a pretty bad game, but I did everything I could to get us to that game, right? It was because of my talents that we got to that point. And the biggest game, and I played bad, and the head coach and my star player duo, right, throws me under the bus when it was more than just my fault that we lost. It's hard for me to go back to them and look them in the face every single day and just smile and laugh it off like it wasn't nothing.
I get it, though.
I get it. I get it. I get it. My bad. I get it, right? He can't shoot for three, right? He missed some free throws, but he was balling all year long. He was second in the running for defensive player of the year. He should have won it, right? He was an all-star. That guy did everything he could for that city, and to throw him under the bus like that and expect him to walk into the building and be okay, can't do it.
But Phil, are you so okay? But at the same token, though, you gonna give that man that same energy to dip into your pockets and take your money? When you can simply play out your contract, get your money, walk out as a free agent, and go someplace else, and still have your money. He didn't get to bury you.
Why should he risk injury for some guys? Only guess what? Let's say he does play, right? And he gets injured. The Sixers will have no problem trading him for somebody else. They don't like him anyway, right? They blame him for that.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. But I mean, he can get hurt anywhere. But at least you're making money.
Well, let me get hurt for a franchise that cares about me and supports me. Let me not get hurt for a team.
Hey, Phil, let me ask you a question. Let me ask. No, come on now, Phil. I want you to come back to planet Earth for a minute. No, I mean that, and I love you. And Phil, you know I love you. But I want to be a realistic individual here for a minute. Now look, you're not looking at this as a business standpoint.
Not at all, John.
No, John. No,
not at all.
No, John. Two different.
No, John. No, we're not going
different
because he ain't stripping and no, we ain't. Hey, look, Phil. No, think about this a minute now. Do you really think? Honestly, from all these business people's perspective, they can say whatever they want to say, but at the end of the day, man, there's not that kind of love out there. Like you're looking at it from a military standpoint of love and that love that we have in the military. That's a different kind of love than business love. Business love, there's no business love out there. When you're no good, you're no good. They're going to discard you no matter what. So you're not. You can think you're going to a better franchise. They care about you. They this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, they really don't give a damn. If you're not performing, you're gone. If you're hurt, okay, you're gone.
It's tough for me to agree with. I mean, from like an ownership perspective, sure, but from like a head coach and a teammate perspective, I mean, come on, think about it. Could you sit here and say that Doc Rivers only has a business relationship with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen? No, I'm sure they're family, right? So the same thing could be said for Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons, right? This is supposed to be your family. You're with these guys every single day for an entire year. You only spend 2 months in the offseason at home with your real family, but you're with these guys every single day. And for the guys supposed to have your best interest at heart, to throw you under, like, come on, Doc Rivers, you didn't have the best coaching game. Joel Embiid, you didn't make all your shots. You didn't block every shot. You didn't grab every single rebound.
I get it. So if you're a family, if you're the family environment, like you say, why doesn't Ben Simmons say, hey, Joel, hey man, let's go out and get some beers, man. Let's hash this out. Let's talk about this shit. You know, whatever. I mean, why not extend the olive branch? And if it doesn't work at that point, then okay, you turn your back on it, you run, and you do what you gotta do. But you at least extend the olive branch and see if you can repair it. If you're a family, because in families, you know it. Everybody ain't getting along all the time. You're gonna piss people off and hate people. I love my sister 24/7, but sometimes I just hate her.
But see, yes. Except for the only problem is that what they did was blasted to the entire world to see. Not the entire world hates Ben Simmons because of one bad game.
I get that. Okay. Right. I get it.
Tough,
I get it. Okay. And I get it. And I thought you were going to say that. And I was like, well, and I was thinking to myself, of it. But I was like, well, maybe Phil will cut me some slack. But no. Hey, there's no lifeline with Phil. You just drown. There's no floating. Hey, watch this. Phil give you a life preserver, but then that's how much you rake that shit back. Oh, yo, what's happening?
Jay, we've been talking about this for 8 months now, right? After the whole playoff fiasco, we brought on our guy, Philly sports guy, talked about all this. Great show. Had him on last week. And, bro, it's crazy because that whole city wants to just run at him with pitchforks, throw beers at him, and choke him with a pretzel, right? They hate this guy.
That is true.
A burning passion. He is public enemy number one in Philly.
But to Jay's point, and because I'm a guy with tough skin. So to Jay's point, if I was Ben Simmons, I would play out my contract, have the best year of my career,
right?
And get to stepping. That's what I would do.
And like I said, I can see both sides of the coin here, right? if you're Simmons, right, you could, like you say, come back. If just played the whole season, help out the Sixers, and who knows, maybe the Sixers might be the number 1 seed in the East right now. But like you mentioned, Phil, after that one game, right, just one game, and with a series they should have won, right? Mm-hmm. He had a bad game. His superstar, his brother, right, his number 2 guy, his teammate, Embiid, and his head coach, who helped draft him, said, nah, I think that this isn't going to work out. I don't think he's the guy in our future.
And also, Logan, my bad. Go ahead, Logan. Go ahead.
And I'm just saying, for someone who, like I said, we don't know Ben Simmons personally. Mm-hmm. It seems like that was the thing that set it off for him, because he went to practice, right? I say that loosely. He went to practice, and we saw him on his phone just not wanting to be there for, 2 days. And we haven't seen him since in a Sixers facility.
And let's remind the world and everyone watching this podcast today, right? It wasn't too long ago that when Joel Embiid, who was injured like he always was, missed like a good chunk of the season towards the end of the season, Ben Simmons carried that Philadelphia 76ers team into the playoffs and almost beat the Toronto Raptors to make it to the finals. What was Joel Embiid doing? Sitting at home being injured like always.
So maybe, and that's my point, right? So I know we got to get out of here, but let me just say one little thing real quick, Phil. Mm-hmm. If Joel Embiid really wants to be an MVP, what does an MVP do? An MVP is somebody that you can't live without. If you want to be a leader on a team, Joel Embiid should put all this BS aside. He should walk up to Ben, take Ben out for maybe Ben is or Embiid is the one that should take Ben out for some beer. Say, look, man. We got to come together, bro. Okay, look, this is where I kind of went wrong. I kind of feel like this is where you went wrong. Let's hash this out. I'll buy you a Rolex watch to say I'm sorry. And let's get back on the damn court and let's make some beautiful basketball together.
That's it.
At some point, somebody's got to be the leader of a team. If you want to be an MVP, that means you're promoting your team. You're building and developing your team. You're not going to let them and just go on the wayside when you could probably reach a hand out and bring this back together and you guys could do something special.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents, and they probably ain't worth a whole hell of a lot.
And let's not forget, it just came out the other day, right, that Ben Simmons is still upset about all this, right? He's still upset that it's from sources close to him. Said he's upset that Embiid seemed to blame him for last year's playoff loss when Simmons did not blame Embiid for Embiid's poor showing in the playoffs against Toronto in 2019, like we just mentioned. He's also frustrated that Doc Rivers didn't come see him while he was training in LA last summer. So Simmons doesn't dispute that he didn't reply when Rivers texted him and called him several times asking to see him. But in hindsight, he feels that Rivers and the Sixers could have done more, like show up at a well-known gym where he was training. So
hold up, Logan. Yep. That's my last piece.
By the way,
this is a message for Mr. Doc Rivers himself, Mr. Big Shot.
There we go.
Right? How many rings do you have, Mr. Big Shot? Oh, let me guess. One. And
one.
Who have you had on your teams, Mr. Doc Rivers? You had Ray Allen. You had Ray John Rondo. You had Paul Pierce. You had Kevin Garnett. You had Blake Griffin. You had Chris Paul. You had J.J. Redick. You had DeAndre Jordan. How many rings you got, Mr. Doc Rivers? Oh, okay then. How about you shut it up, Mr. Doc?
Hey, by the way, real quick, even Michael Jordan flew out to Vegas and grabbed Rodman's crazy butt and brought him back into the fold.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what a leader is. That's what an MVP is. That's what somebody who cares about the team does. That's what true family is. Embiid, if you're listening in any way, shape, or form, when somebody ever gets this into your hands, I hope you hear this, man. Look, man, when you are doubting your life and you want to really be the guy, you want to be that guy, you want the accolades, you want all the this, that, and the other, one of the best accolades you can have is player development and player leadership. And if you go out there and you can bring Ben Simmons back in the fold and make him happy again, how much better, number one, is a team going to look, and how much better will you look after that? Just saying. That's where legacies are born. That's where legacies are born. I'm just saying.
And my final 2 cents on this, I saw a report from Ramona Shelburne of ESPN saying that Simmons is back at the practice facility. He's working out with his own trainers, but he's still telling the Sixers that he is not mentally ready to play for the team. So that is the latest update that came out yesterday.
Quote unquote, in layman's terms, I'm still butthurt. Okay.
So we'll see. But look, I think we can all agree. All of us can agree on one thing. But Daryl Morey needs to trade this man and get something for him and stop being so stubborn.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Jay, you know very well. I don't know what he's doing asking for 4 first-round draft picks for a guy who ain't seen the court this
They
year.
didn't even get 3. Look, we only got 3 for Harden. Is Simmons really better than Harden? Come on.
No, not at all.
We got 3 first-rounders and John Wall. I mean, come on.
No.
Hey, hold up. Save that question for next week because I save that topic for next time. I like that topic right there.
There we go. We'll save it for the next time Phil is on. But that is the end of our show for tonight. Thanks to everyone for coming on. Phil, do you have anything you'd like to promote before we get out of here tonight?
Hey, once again, we are coming live from the ASAP Network. Logan, Jay, Unscripted is amazing. This has been a pleasure. I can't wait for next time I'm on the show, man.
Yes, sir. We got to get you on very soon once again. Like I said, we go live Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays at 8. We're live on Facebook at Unscripted, also on the All Sports All Plays Network on Facebook and YouTube. February 8th, next Tuesday, we will be on Tiki for the first time. Can't wait to get that going. My co-host, Jay McLovin, Frankie C, who's doing some good work, our guy, Big Shot Rob, everyone who's been on Unscripted, we love you guys. Thanks so much for all the hard work we've been doing over the past few years. Big Phil, man, thanks for coming on, doing some good sports analysis. And we will see you guys on Saturday with some more amazing sports topics.
Hashtag NFL, be a difference maker.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're hiding the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.